Safe City advocates said the incident surrounding Gretchen Diez was clear harassment against transgenders. Charisse Manalo-Jordan of UN Women and Annie Bridget Albrechtsen of Plan International sat down with Sito Beltran on today's agenda and discussed their push for safer spaces in the country. Let's listen in.
Again, it's defined as gender-based sexual harassment. It doesn't only cover women and girls as defined by law. We call it the cis women, those who are assigned female at birth and still identifies as female, right? The reason why it's called gender-based sexual harassment is putting the spotlight on gender. That also includes sexual orientation and gender identity. So that footage of a transgender woman being harassed or discriminated is actually a violation of our Safe Spaces Act.
Yeah, but it can also be said, Anne, that it's a violation of the privacy and safety of all the women in that toilet.
And also, for example, in Quezon City, we have the Anti-Discrimination on the Basis of Sexual Orientation and Gender Identity Act. And that can be also construed as discrimination against the transgender. I think, yes, indeed, there's right to privacy, right to safety, but we're also looking at the manner by which the transgender woman was approached.
And now we're talking about, safe spaces. I can feel for the lady who's supervising that comfort room, because she's looking at it from a perspective of a woman seeing a transgender, and as far as she's concerned...
A transgender woman.
Yeah, but that's my point. The woman's perspective is, you're not a woman. You go there. You go to the men's toilet. The transgender person is saying, hey, I'm transgender. I can go there. So now we've got a confused situation. How do you make that call?
You know, the interesting thing is that what we've learned from the work that we do on Safer Cities in now 10 very large metropolitan areas around the world is that, first of all, you need to have the conversations. You need to have the conversations with the police, with the transit authorities, with the bus operators, others, to make them understand the lived realities of the girls, the young women, the trans community, anybody who lives in that city and what they're experiencing. And when you've had those conversations and when you start to deeply understand what are those very uncomfortable moments that they're experiencing, then you can start knowing how to act, what kinds of actions to take. Give you an example. Actually, here in the Philippines, we've managed to train some 20,000 bus operators in Masbate, simply so that they understand that on their buses, this kind of harassment actually takes place. What are some of the things that they can do as operators? Simply just to call out and say, hey, that's not allowed on my bus. They've signed manifestos to say that this is a safe bus for girls and young women in this city. And that makes the population of that city feel so much safer about stepping onto a public bus. And there are other types of examples, things like street lamps, things like, understanding that there are some shop owners that are also making their shops a safe place for girls and young women. And the conversation itself is absolutely essential because, yes, you can take an example like the one you've shown and say, oh, we don't know how to do this. But fundamentally, everybody wants their cities, their public spaces to be respectful, great places for girls, boys, everybody